Hello friends, it's Virginia at Sets in My Diaries. I hope everybody's doing great today. If you're anything like me, you're on the intuition development path, and really I love this work because there's really no limit to how much we can grow and what we can explore with our intuition. So every once in a while I like to offer a couple of tips to you guys out there who are working to develop your gifts and increase your psychic sensitivity for your spiritual development, for your healing, for your service in the world. And yeah, just bravo to you if you're on this path and you're exploring the other side, because it's sort of a novel type of work to take up, and it takes a lot of bravery, it takes some courage, and a lot of trust in the soul, a lot of trust in yourself. So keep going. I know it's slow going sometimes. I know I've been on the path for so many years and I'm still learning all the time. So here's my quick tip for today. It's about clairaudience. There's a lot of different clairs that we can have. We can have clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, but clairaudience is a really interesting one because it is one of the more obvious. Like clairaudience and clairvoyance can be a little more obvious than clairsentience or claircognizance, but there's a lot of confusion, especially if you're beginning on the path around clairaudience. For one, what I want you to know is that it's not going to sound like someone speaking to you externally. It's really frustrating that this is the case, but in the beginning especially, it's going to sound like you. It's going to sound like your own thinking. And I have a long history of being a skeptic, and so when intuition folks would say that online, it would really kind of irritate me, because it would be like, it sounds like the imagination. How am I supposed to trust that? But it's only really in the beginning that it feels like the imagination, that it feels like your own thinking. With more investment and more development, it does start to take on a richer texture than just your inner monologue. But I'll tell you how you can sort of navigate the nuances of clairaudience. A good thing about sitting in meditation and asking your guides a question is that any intuitive impressions that come at that point are ceremonial and are likely communication. So you can trust that message that's coming in and sounds like someone speaking to you, or your own inner monologue is giving you a sentence. You can kind of trust that that's a guided impression, because you've asked for it in meditation in an intuitive session. So that's one giveaway. But another giveaway is that your guides just use different words than you often. They'll use more advanced concepts, only slightly more advanced. It's not going to be like out of your comprehension range, but they just have a little bit more of a mature and sophisticated grasp on language sometimes, and concepts, because they're usually in a higher density. So the concepts and the language that's going to be coming in through what sounds like your inner monologue when you're asking for guidance is going to sound not quite like words you would be using with yourself. So that can give it away. Another thing to know is that while it sounds kind of like you can even hear your own voice when your guides are using clairaudience, but sometimes, especially as you get away from that beginner zone and you invest more, they'll start to use, you can pick up on the sound of their voice, and even sounds of other people's voices, like friends or family, trusted loved ones. They'll use your vocabulary or your index of auditory experiences to speak through. So that was confusing for a while when I would hear messages in other people's voices, like, well, is my friend, like Jack talking to me right now? Like, that's confusing. But no, it was my guides using the sound of his voice, because that was something that was a sort of in my vocabulary auditorially, if that makes sense. So you can know to expect that. One thing to know is that during emergencies, it will kind of sound like a voice is physicalized and external from you. If your guide is trying to communicate something emergently to you, they can, it takes a lot of energy, but they can physicalize their message in your environment. Entities will sometimes do that to kind of spook us too, depending on the situation. So it is possible, but most people, it's rare, most people are hearing kind of in an inward way. So just something to note is that it generally feels like an inner monologue kind of experience. It feels like a part of your own thought landscape. And I'll say that one thing is that everybody's got their gifts. You know, some people are really strong seers, some people are really strong feelers, but clairaudience will come naturally to people who are strong auditorially, like musicians, speakers, people who love conversation and language and words. It's definitely the camp I'm in. Will have strong aptitude for clairaudience, because this is a skill we use in a mundane way all the time. So Spirit will use that strength in meditation, in sacred communication, because it's already a strong sense that you have. The thing about intuition development is that it's always drawing from your actual senses. They're just a heightened sort of higher dimension of that sense. But you don't have to be a musician or a professional speaker to be clairaudient. You can strengthen this gift, and one way you can do that is by just practicing. Take a week and declare it Clairaudience Week, and maybe for 5 minutes a day, just give yourself an exercise of imagining an auditory phenomenon, like a creek, like the running water of a creek, or a siren, or a church bell, or an orchestra, whatever you like. Use multiple sounds and change it up, so you're, building your muscle memory in a way, but and you don't get too complacent and comfortable. But you can strengthen this gift by using your auditory sense, your inner auditory sense, and you can summon that sound and turn it down and then make it bigger, turn it down, make it bigger. And in this way, you'll develop sort of a tongue for this type of language, the spiritual language. And I think you'll enjoy the results if you do that for about a week. It's a good thing to do, every quarter if you want, just to freshen up and tune up. But I hope that helps you on your intuition development journey. I know it's a wild world out there, and we're always growing and exploring new things. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I wish you the best of luck on your path. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Take care.